Good evening. Welcome to the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. I'm Deputy Director Casey Matthews, and I have the honor of welcoming all of you, both here in person and online, for this momentous occasion. As you know, this is Schomburg's centennial. This is the home of our namesake, Arturo Alfonso Schomburg, the wonderful collector and visionary activist who actually started what we now call the Seed Collection right here in Harlem. Let me take a moment of privilege to introduce Arturo's grandson, who happens to be in the audience with us. Mr. Dean Schomburg, would you please rise? This event comes to you this evening from another visionary, and that is Harlem's own Vosa Rivers. We'll let his work speak for itself, and there'll be plenty of opportunities to hear from Vosa. And for folks who know his work, I want to begin the program by introducing you to the Master of Ceremonies for this evening, also someone very well known in Harlem and Harlem Week circles, producer and writer Andre Robinson Jr. Please welcome the brother to the stage.
See what happens when you sprinkle enough $20 bills around, people remember your name. So I'm your MC this evening. I'm also the producer of the event, so if you see me stumble over my words or lean a little bit, before the evening is over, I'll talk with you about being without internet for 5 days and trying to produce the event, and my belt's too big and my shoes are too small, and so I'll skip all of that. So anyway, I'd like to lead off the evening with introducing you to a woman who took my job eventually, Desiree Elder, who's the new artistic director of the New Heritage Theater and also the pastor of Metropolitan First Corinthian Baptist Church. Desiree, who's going to lead us off this evening. There she is. Oh, my manners. Sorry. There we go.
Good evening, everyone. I've been asked to offer a prayer this evening. So I'm asking that you bow your head and close your eyes or take whatever posture is most comfortable for you. Let us pray. God of the oppressed, God of the uprising, God who hears the cry of children in the streets, we gather today on holy ground. 50 years ago, on a June morning in Soweto, young people walked out of classrooms and into the corridor of history. They were students, they were children, and they refused to be educated into their own subjugation. We honor them today. We honor Hector Peterson, 13 years old, whose body became an image the world could not unsee. We honor every name we know and every name we do not. We honor the ones who survived and carried the weight of that day for 50 years. God, we ask that you receive this gathering as an act of remembrance and recommitment. Let us not make monuments of their sacrifice while forgetting the work they died demanding. For the young people still fighting, still locked out, still underestimated, still rising anyway, we pray for courage. We pray for vision. We pray that the fire of 1976 does not become a museum piece, but a living inheritance. Let this room be a room of truth. Let this conversation be honest. Let what we leave here be worthy of what they gave. In the name of all that is sacred, in the name of the ancestors who did not die in vain, it is in your name we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. And I'm not jealous at all that you took my job. You're doing a much better job of it, and thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to introduce a man that needs no introduction, really. I know people say that all the time, but this man really doesn't need an introduction to any of you because we're here for him. He taught me everything I know about producing, including how to take one fish sandwich and feed a whole cast. You just keep dividing it and dividing it and dividing it. Comes very handy in the nonprofit theater, believe me. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Vosa Rivers.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this evening's program. Several months ago, I came up with a germ of an idea, and the idea was that we should celebrate Soweto's 50th anniversary and those kids who were massacred in South Africa because they wanted to have English as part of their curriculum. And when I thought about it, and I thought about the work that New Heritage had been doing over the years with South African plays, it dawned on me that when we did the Serafina play, that after 10 years of Broadway and touring around the world, that those young people who were all teenagers when they were with me 30 years ago would have an opportunity to be auditioned for The Lion King. So The Lion King came, interviewed our young people, and hired them. Those young actors had been employed for the last 26 years on Broadway. In the 10 years with me, with Serafina and all of its touring. And I just thought, wouldn't it be great if I could bring them up, some of the actors, to tell their story. And I wanted to do it for high school students, just so that's that next generation that we have to be focusing on. And so I came up with a very simple idea, is that I would invite some of the actors from Serafina, some of the actors from The Lion King, and they would tell their story. Well, they told their story this afternoon to over 500 students, and it was magnificent. From the celebrity side, the Serafina film also starred Whoopi Goldberg. So Whoopi Goldberg decided to also be a part of this morning's program at Abyssinian Baptist Church. And it was just a wonderful gathering. When those young people saw the film, Serafina, they all started coming up to me saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, because now we see what we have to do to keep that next generation active. So again, I just want to say thank all of you for being here. It's a special evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I can't be up here sagging in front of... I explained about the belt, right? So you will understand. It's not because I'm getting ready to introduce to you a group that probably also needs no introduction, Impact Repertory Theater. Kids. Hello? Oh, here we go.
Konsisikeleli Afrika Malupakani supondolwayo Yizwa emitana zoyetu Kosi sikelela Tina lusambolwayo Morena boluka sentrabasa Jesu Ufedi sedi twali matwe Usebuluke si chabasa Yesu si chabasa South Africa South Africa Et des blues de français Yemel Et des deep des prononciés Sounds the call to come together and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Thank you all. Thank you. Okay, so we're also blessed to have with us the South African Consul General, Mr. Simon Carty, is with us this evening. So, sir, would you come in? Yeah, that corner's a doozy. Careful.
Thanks, Lord. Good evening, everyone. Hope you can see me. I can't see you. So we wanted to start with a special word of appreciation to Congressman Adriano Ispialat, of course to Vosa Rivers for making this all possible, Program Coordinator, ladies and gentlemen. It is the South African Consulate General's honor to welcome you to this special event tonight and to thank all the partners and the Schomburg Center for hosting us. Today, as you know, marks the 50th anniversary of the 1976 Soweto Uprising, when South African youth protested the imposition of the Afrikaans language as a medium of instruction in schools. In those days, Afrikaans was really association with oppression and the oppressor. So I wish to acknowledge the presence and contribution tonight of celebrities who immortalized the events of 16 June 1976 through the artistic masterpiece that is Serafina. And to thank you, all of those who were involved in Serafina, The Lion King, all the other great cultural productions about Africa, which really brought our story to the international attention. And a special word of thanks also to those who will be honored tonight for the special contributions they've made. As you know, the Soweto Uprising is really a defining moment in a centuries-long South African freedom struggle, because the violence with which those children were met by the apartheid authorities galvanized the country and they drew international attention. And this really helped set in motion a series of events that eventually led to the collapse of apartheid and to the transition to a multicultural democracy in South Africa. So 50 years later, we are here to honor the sacrifices of our nation's youth for freedom, justice, and equality. 50 years later, we are here to reaffirm that young people remain the drivers of transformation and of change, whether you're in South Africa, the United States, or anywhere in the world. In South Africa, the whole month of June is dedicated to youth. 16 June is Youth Day. But this is not really only to raise awareness to the historical achievements of youth of the past, but it's also to empower today's youth to lead and thrive in a changing world. Our reality in South Africa is that we still need to bridge the historic struggle for youth empowerment through equal education, inclusive economic participation, and skills development. Our reality is that we still need to mobilize society towards practical pathways that connect those young people to opportunities for a better life and a better future. We also need to restore hope to young people facing incredibly high rates of unemployment, exclusion, and related social challenges. And I have to say that this South African reality is unfortunately shared here in the United States and in virtually every other country on the planet today. So our message to our American friends, and especially to the communities here in Harlem who have stood by us throughout, is that we really appreciate the historic support that you have provided for the freedom struggle in our country, and to say that we still need your ongoing support for a just, equitable, and inclusive South Africa. But we are also here to support you, because you are agents for change in a shared struggle for a better life and a better world. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Carty. So Kevin Matthews, who you met earlier, has told me we have to be out of the building on time, so I'm going to keep this moving. But I'm going to take a little point of privilege and ask the staff of New Heritage Theater to please stand, because they have worked through the internet issues and the phone issues and the email issues and all the rest of that. Please give them your applause. And then while you're applauding, reach for your pen, and that beautiful envelope you got, you can write a check out and put some zeros on it, and they will appreciate that even more. Okay, so I'm going to introduce to you right now a video from a person that was instrumental in getting this South African theater really set off for New Heritage Theater, Mr. Duma and Lovu. Do we have the video ready? Okay, I'll get out of the way.
In 1984, Phyllis Stickney and myself walked into the New Heritage Theater in Harlem and presented an idea to Vosa Rivers and Andre Robinson, who were the producers of the theater then. They both opened their arms and welcomed us and welcomed the idea. And in no time, Woza Albert, the classic South African play, performed in Harlem to rave reviews. In fact, that is the performance that popularized Woza Albert and Bongeni Ngema throughout the United States. They had been touring before then, and they were performing not only to sold-out houses, but some of the houses were empty, up until they came up to Harlem, and there was wider acceptance by black people, and the rest was history. After that collaboration around Woza Albert, I then started foraying into theater in the United States. I approached the Lincoln Center Theater and presented an idea to do a festival of South African plays, and of course they also accepted me, and then I dragged Vosa Rivers and we all worked together on the Festival of South African Plays. And that was the idea that resulted in Sarafina being created, because we gave Mbongeni money to go back home and start Sarafina. And of course in 1987, Sarafina descended in the United States. I introduced Vosa to Mbongeni, and he ultimately became his manager. In fact, up until the time Mbongeni passed on, Vosa was still managing his affairs. But all the time when we were in the United States, Vosa basically was managing Mbongeni and all the work that he did. I just want to say to these two brothers, big up to you. Vosa, you've always been on our side as South Africans, and we actually think of you as South African. Andre, you've played your part as well, and all of us together with Phyllis Stickney changed the face of America as far as South African arts and culture is concerned. I will not forget, Vosa, through your efforts that Congressman Rangel declared May 9 Duma Ndlovu and Bongeni Ngema Day in Harlem. Those were your efforts, and we got a lot of other prizes and acknowledgements through your efforts. I just want to say, as South Africa celebrates 50 years of June 16, as the world celebrates 50 years of June 16, I don't want us to forget the contribution of our brothers and sisters in the United States, African Americans and brothers and sisters from all over the world who came together with us and made sure that South Africa is not forgotten. And that's why today we got our freedom in 1994. And that's why culture played such an important role in making sure that we get our freedom. In New York, or starting with New York, the four of us, the people that I've mentioned, were very critical in making sure that the arts and culture of South Africa are acknowledged. And I think we made our contribution in making sure that change comes in South Africa. Vosa, Andre, Phyllis, today I want to send a shout out to you and say that as we celebrate June 16, let's also celebrate what we did with works like Asinamali, Woza Albert, Township Fever, and Sarafina, and also Sheila's Day. Let's celebrate the work that we did, which brought Americans to the realization of the things that were happening in South Africa, and then gave all the support that they did give. Amandla, power to you, power to all our people. Ngiyabonga.
All on the power of a fish sandwich. Who knew? Yeah, that's right. You did that. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to introduce now maybe Congressman Espiat, if he is here with us, but maybe not. So, okay, so let's move on, and so maybe he will be. He's doing a debate tonight, and so he's going to pop up when he pops up, because we know politicians are busy. I'm going to introduce now Donna Walker-Kuhn, who's going to be our moderator for the panel this evening. Donna, would you join me? I'm sorry, Professor Donna Walker-Kuhn.
Now, you don't need me to say anything. Just when we start. Good evening, everyone. Always wonderful to be here at the Schomburg, and congratulations on 100 years. That's fantastic. Really wonderful. And what an amazing day, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the impact of Serafina and the youth. And we know our youth are leading the way all over the world. So this is just really wonderful. So my task is to introduce our panel. We don't have a lot of time, but we want to introduce them, and I'm going to ask each of them one question. So panel, please come up and take a seat as I say your name. First, we're going to start with Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. And Miss Phyllis Yvonne Stickney is an American actress and comedian. She's known for her main role on the sitcom New Attitude. She's appeared in films, including New Jack City, Jungle Fever, Malcolm X, What's Love Got to Do with It, and How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Miss Stickney is all that. Thank you. Gregory Mosier. Gregory Mosier is a theater and film producer, more than 200 plays at the Goodman Theater and Lincoln Center Theaters, on and off Broadway, internationally. Mr. Mosier has done many, many productions working with Nobel Prize winners, Wole Soyinka and Derek Walcott, and he's a recipient of numerous American Theater Awards, including 2 Tony Awards. And he's a professor at Hunter College. And we had the opportunity to work together on a production. Next, we have Ron Kuhn. Is Ron here? No? Okay. Laleti Kumalo. She here? South African actress. Okay. That's not. You're Ron. Are you Ron? Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me just say a word about Mr. Ron Kewen. He's, who? Oh, okay. Ron is a distinguished thespian and academic, and he comes to us from Johannesburg, South Africa. His career in edutainment is a blend of education and entertainment. He brought African stories to the global stage through film, television, and Broadway. His notable works include roles in Bopa, The Gods Must Be Crazy 2, Lion King, Power of One, A Different World, Modern Family, and Serafina. And then last we have Nigel Noble. Nigel? So Nigel is an English sound mixer, film director, and producer. He has won an Academy Award in 1982 for Close Harmony in the category of Best Documentary Short Subject. He also was involved with the film Voices of Serafina and Porgy and Bess and the Beauty Academy of Kabul. So he has had a stellar career. It's a pleasure to have you, sir. So because of our time limitation panels, I'm going to ask each of you one question. So I'm going to start with our actress, Phyllis Yvonne Stickney, who makes us laugh. I have howled at your plays, so don't look at me like that. Okay. As a comedian, you know that laughter can be an act of survival. With the event's theme, We Are the Future, how can joy and humor help a new generation process historical trauma without losing the urgency of the struggle? Shall I repeat? You got it, Mom.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank Vosa for the invitation. It's a very interesting and almost it's a convoluted moment for me because there's so much going on inside and outside. So I'll be honest and say that I'm leaving after this because I have a rehearsal that I was expected to be late at, but not quite this time. Comedy, first of all, my comedy comes from truth. My comedy comes, and I think most comedians can attest to the fact that when we are able to make a joke about something, I often say, when I'm able to make a joke about something that's been traumatic in my life, in my experience, then I've healed beyond that. I've healed that place. Yes. I think it's the same for any comedian. I would say those who have a craft, who look at it as a craft, and not just for sensationalism or for shock value. A lot of that has come into our ears and eyes as of late. So I particularly say, because I've had to use it quite often, when I began to do comedy as a lifestyle and as a way of communicating and generating revenue, I remember that I began the shows by saying, well, I'm doing comedy to keep from committing a double homicide. Well, the two people that I was talking about killing was Vosa and Andre. For reasons that were, that were real. And I think that the ability for me to be able to find humor in that moment and to dig deep is what all of us have to do. I think that the children today, hopefully, some of the comedians and some of the people who are craftspeople, artists, will be able to find that vein of universality, that they'll be able to find that vein that connects to a common voice, a common experience, or common attitude, or common feeling, because we all are connected by that. There's an invisible cord that connects us all. If we strike that chord, no matter what our economic, our racial, our gender, we all will respond to that thing. So I'm hopeful that this generation, that these generations, the Z's and the X's and those that come after, are able to tap into that vein, to hear the voice that I think speaks within all of us, that connects to whatever the struggle was and what they can take from the ancestors, right? That Sankofa experience, because that's all that I do. That's all that any of us who I think are amazing artists really do. We tap into that vein of gold, I call it, that vein that connects us all. And so for my wish and hope for those that are coming in these generations now and those that will come after, that they are able to study those that came before them, have an understanding of what those tools were that they used, and find those tools or those abilities or those gifts and that voice within themselves. And use that, I think, is the best possible way that I could say, as a working comedian and as an actor, that that's what I do and that's what I use. And I hope they're able to do the same.
Thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful, as we knew it would be. Thank you.
And if I leave, y'all know where I'm going. I'm going to rehearsal.
Gregory, I have a question for you. As theater and film producer and producer, Gregory. Okay, can you,
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what we're whispering before you answer the question. Lincoln Center, that's why I'm leaving. If I have permission?
to leave?
Yes.
Yes.
There's not another question coming to me, yes?
No.
Right, because they've been texting me when we receive Ms. Stickney. So Lincoln Center, June 19th, we're doing something called Osankofa. And if you want to have the experience for Juneteenth, do join us.
You're leaving us? Thank you.
7 p.m.
Okay,
at Lincoln Center.
got you. What day? Now? When? Oh,
I'll get my bag. I'm not disrupting anything. What are you
not at
talking
all. Not at all. What's that?
Juneteenth,
What's
Friday.
that bag over? Oh, that's something.
Juneteenth,
19.
June 19th.
That's Friday.
That's Friday.
We'll be there
Yeah.
at 7. Thank you. Gregory Mosher, may I please ask you a question of you? Okay, as the producer of the stage musical Serafina, the musical was built on Ngani, I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing that. Yes, Ngaima's vision and the cast's lived experiences. How did you, as a producer, balance the demands of Broadway, which is the commercial viability, accessibility, with the need to honor the raw, unflinching truth of Soweto in '76?
Hi, it's really nice to be here with all of you. This is a very emotional night for me, actually. I just trusted Bongani. It was really simple. Voza called me one day and said, come on up to the Roger Furman Theater. There's a company you should see and a person you should meet. And it was Bongani rehearsing Asina Mali. They didn't know I was in the back of the theater. And I was just transfixed by the skill of these actors, but also, and I speak as a director, not as a producer now, at the just stone brilliance with which these 5 young men on a bare stage were creating life. And I thought, this guy's just a genius. And then, as Duma said, we produced this evening called, or actually a month-long festival of South African plays, and they were all great. Bongeni's was unreal, and this was the same thing, Asina Mali, and I said, I'll do anything you want to do, ever. Just name it. And he said, well, I have this idea, it's just an idea right now about a girl who's elected to play Nelson Mandela in the school play. And I said, yeah, that's great, we'll do that. And he said, well, hang on, I haven't written it yet. I said, well, I'm sure you will. And he said, yeah, it's a musical. I said, terrific. He said, it's got 40 people. I said, okay. He said, we have to rehearse for a year in South Africa. Oh, and I haven't cast it yet. And I said, great. And the conversation was really that short because, like very few people in my life, I just knew this guy was a genius. And like Jerome Robbins, you know, or Leonard Bernstein, or Miles Davis, or, you know, he was special. So they did rehearse for a year in South Africa. I went several times. At that time, black people were not supposed to stay in Johannesburg. You're supposed to go home to Soweto, which is 15 miles away. That wasn't going to work, so Bongeni had rented a house, ironically, in the literal shadow of the prison called John Forster Square, which is a big, like 14-story building. And they would rehearse until midnight. All the kids were together in the band, and the cops would come, black cops. They would come and they would sit in their patrol car, and these people were just all breaking the law. But it was fantastic. Bongeni was a pop star at the time. And so they'd sit in the car and they'd listen, and eventually they'd go up and say, you know, you're really not supposed to be here. And he'd say, I know. And they'd say, can we have your autograph? And he'd say, yes. And he'd introduce them to the company, and they'd say, you know, you shouldn't be here. He'd say, I know. And then they would do it. And then they came to New York. We were in a 300-seat theater, and it was explosive. And it was very clear that there were all of New York, including millions of black people in New York, who would be interested in this play, and we just couldn't accommodate them in a 300-seat theater. So thanks to Lucille Lortel, who guaranteed us against losses. She did not invest in the play. She guaranteed us against losses when we moved to Broadway. But then we ended up playing for, I don't know, around like 15 months or something. During this time, Nigel made this unbelievably stunning movie. The clip of Makeba visiting the cast at the end is about 8 minutes long, and literally once every 3 weeks I send that clip out to people, and they write back and they say, well, that's the hardest I've cried in 6 months. You'll see it tonight. It's stunning. So the answer to the question is, you just have to trust. We didn't say, oh, will people come or won't they come? We just thought, well, this is great, and we're going to share it with the world, and we were very lucky we were in a position where financially we could take that risk. And if I ever get so far as the pearly gates and St. Peter starts going down all the bad stuff, I'm going to say, hey, but Serafina, come on.
Wonderful. Bravo. Thank you, Gregory, for saying yes. Thank you. Ron.
Yes.
Actor and academic. My question for you, as both a thespian and a PhD student in history, how do you navigate the tension between dramatic emotion and historical accuracy when telling the story of 1976, especially to young people who might be encountering this for the first time?
It's a very good question. I think, firstly, I just need to acknowledge, the contributions done by Mr. Greg Mosher and our friend Nigel here for welcoming Mbongeni and Mr. Boza Rivers for giving Mbongeni that platform, to do Sarafina. I think the art form sometimes can speak volumes in terms of explaining, because at the time that Sarafina became very big in the United States, in South Africa, Big Botha had come up with a law where, there was just a media blockade on what was happening in terms of, what's going on in the townships, in Soweto and several townships. So this masterpiece of theater became really something that was broadcasting what was happening under apartheid in South Africa, and it ended up educating a lot of people. I don't know that, some people remember there was a very famous show on ABC by Ted Koppel, that would talk about world events. And for the first time, it was interesting to see the likes of some of the cast members of Sarafina appearing there, because, at that time, we black people, we were voiceless, because of the media. The media was censored, and nobody could hear or know what was going on. And at that time also, people like Miriam, Hugh, the art form was also used in their music to really show what was going on in South Africa. But the play, for people to see, to witness, to see Leleti, to see the cast, I was with the show, I think I did about maybe 3 years with the show on tour, after my master's degree from UCLA. Just wanted a little bit of air from academics, and I went and worked with them, and it was a masterpiece. So I see, a fusion, an intersection between the two, the art and also the storytelling. And so that becomes the essence of what I call edutainment.
Thank you. Edutainment. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And Nigel, as director of Voices of Serafina, which is a documentary, my question to you, the short film Close Harmony, for which you won an Oscar award, and Voices of Serafina both center on the power of collective singing and storytelling. How do you see the act of listening, rather than just performing, but listening as a political tool for remembrance today?
I'm sorry, you have to tell me what the last question was. I couldn't hear you.
You couldn't hear me? Okay, I can definitely repeat. Do come closer? Okay. I can come closer. All right. Shall I have a seat? Okay. Your film, Close Harmony.
Yes, I remember it well.
I'm sure. I'm sure. You won an
This
Oscar.
is my first film, Pure Love.
Your first, and you won an Oscar for your first film.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well,
It makes a great doorstop.
okay. So, Close Harmony and Voices of Serafina, both of those center on collective singing and storytelling. Yep. Okay. How do you see the act of listening, rather than just performing, as a political tool for remembrance today? How does listening enable us to use this as a political tool for remembrance?
I watched many, many, many performances of Sarafina before I even thought about bringing in a camera. I would sit with my cameraman, John Hazard, next to me, and we would take drawings and scribble all over the script, and then go talk about what we saw and how to see this. Because when I first met the cast, Ombongeni took me onto the stage at the Mitzi Newhouse and introduced me to the cast who were sitting in the front seats of the theater. And then he turned around and walked off. And I'm left standing there all in the light. They're in the dark, except I can see their faces. They're incredibly beautiful. Oh, beautiful, beautiful 39 lovely looking people. And I was terrified. Not for them, of myself. How would I be able to transfer that to film? That sense of love that I immediately received, because I said, after Bongeni walked off, I said, good morning. And in one voice, 39 people said, good morning. And I was like, I can see and hear that to this very day. So, like in all of the films that I make, the thing that I need to do is to get to know everybody. And I said, oh, first of all, how am I going to connect the names? But anyway, I'll get there, I'll get there. So I moved into the hotel with the cast and spent a month in the car and in there, getting to talk to them in every possible moment I could. And what I realized was that I heard such a depth of emotion and pain from what they had lived through. And I just then proceeded in the gentlest and simplest way that I knew how, and brought the crew towards them, slower, slowly, gently, meeting, until we became part of the cast. And by the time we were actually filming the performance itself, and I'm sorry Laletti is not here, because I wanted to apologize to her, actually, because when we filmed the play, the musical itself, it was in a break. The time to do it was the break between being at the Mitzi Newhouse and moving to the court. That was when the stage was empty and it was my province, if you like. And they did not know that they were going to be doing it again for the camera. And they all came flopping onto the stage that first shoot day, and they were lying on the floor, leaning up against anything they could find to lean on, and they looked exhausted. And I wanted to apologize to Laletti and say, would you please go back to the cast members and apologize? I took away your week's vacation. And the relationship is everything in film. And
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Greg, it looks like you have something you want to add.
I'm sorry, I was just very careless not to talk about Foza's importance to all of this. None of this would have happened without him. None of it. And I just, because he's so central to it, I kind of skipped over him. And it's just important to acknowledge.
Gentlemen, any last word? You look like you want to say something.
I can hear you.
Do you have any last word? I don't know if you.
Oh, I just
something.
wanted to also to add that I'm glad that the people that the leadership of our country is here, Mr. Code and Mr. Botha, and behind them is Mr. Ken Sunshine, who helped to bring the greatest show in South Africa, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Pharrell, and Asha. And Mr. Please, yes. And I'm saying this because at this critical moment with wars and everything, it's time that we need cultural diplomacy.
Yes.
We really need a strong intervention from the artistic world to unite the world, because right now the world is a topsy-turvy. Even the challenges that are happening in Africa, in South Africa, as our Consul General indicated, we really need your help to really, really help us as we grow as a nation. We're not perfect, but I hope at one point we'll understand that in all things that are essentially, separate, we can become one and be united. Pan-Africanism is important. Now we seem to have a lot of frustration in South Africa because of the crisis of unemployment and a number of different things. And that's starting to create things like Afrophobia and all that. But I must say to you, and I challenge you, if you go to South Africa, you'll see that our people are very, very loving. And God has blessed us with a beautiful, beautiful country. But at this time, we have a lot of frustration, and I'm hoping and I'm appealing to people to really visit, and also to appeal to the artists to come and grace us with their talent, because I believe that will unite us the same way those artists in Buckingham sang very strongly and said, "Free, free Nelson Mandela," and Mandela was in prison, but he could hear that, and guess what? The magic happens. So I really, really appeal that unity in humanity, it's very important for us to get together again and do it again, and not let other people, and you know who I'm talking about, to dissuade us from that unity, the symphony of humanity. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. A perfect ending for this part of the program. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to turn it back to Andre.
Appreciate you. Okay, you are all artists. No, don't go anywhere. I want you all to pretend like I'm Congressman Espiat, although those of you who know me well know I could never run for anything. So, gentlemen, please stay.
Guys, let's stand up and let's take a photo.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. I'm deeply grateful that you've come to see a documentary that we made in 1987 about a South African stage musical entitled Serafina, which tells the painful truth of a student uprising in Soweto that took place on this very day, June 16th, 1976. Sadly, what happened is equally relevant in 2026. Recently, and quite unexpectedly, I received a call from Vosa Rivers, to whom I had not spoken in almost 30 years since we worked on the film. That call brought me back to this work and to the people who made it possible. Mbongeni Ngema, who conceived the original production, wrote the book, directed the show, and co-wrote its unforgettable music and lyrics with the legendary musician Hugh Masekela. Their creative partnership transformed the pain, courage, and hope of a generation into a powerful theatrical and musical experience. Both the stage and the film productions of Serafina are a reminder of the cruelty and inhumanity of apartheid and of the extraordinary courage of those who stood against it. It recalls the painful events that unfolded in Soweto and the resilience of the young people who refused to accept injustice and oppression, a quality we could learn from them today. I, along with many amongst us, are troubled by the lies, the policies, and the divisions we are witnessing in the United States today. Systems that separate, marginalize, and deny the rights and humanity of others. Perhaps viewing Serafina and seeing these brave youngsters will inspire and encourage us to ask, how do we confront injustice? How do we protect human rights? And how do we ensure that future generations inherit a just and compassionate world? I am honored that Vosa invited me to share the documentary today. And I'd like to welcome Laletti Kumalo into our midst, and to the members of the film production crew and the editing crew, and all of you gathered here tonight. Thank you to the Schomburg Center for hosting this evening. Thank you to Vosa for bringing us together. And thank you all for joining in remembrance, reflection, and conversation. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome